So I built this MCP, and then it built itself, and now I can't sleep. I had a meeting at 9, I had a meeting at 10, I had a meeting to schedule the meeting again. So I fed it to the model and I pressed the little key, and the model made a song about the meeting, about me. Why am I still listening? Why am I still listening? Why am I still listening to the meeting minutes, baby? I built an MCP, it went meta on me. Now the agents write the tickets while I'm trying to sleep. I used to lose my nights to a video game screen. Now I lose them to GitLab and a Rails routine. Too much fun. Too much fun. Too much.
All right. As much as I wanted to keep listening to that song, here we are.
Another episode, another day, another podcast.
Another Wednesday, a little late because, as I was saying before we got started, I am not great with time management and did not leave myself enough time to get home. Plus all of, what do they say? Canada has 2 seasons, winter and construction. So I just,
That's true.
I did not plan properly at all, but we made it. We're here. We're here.
Yeah, I mean, you can't win anywhere within 2 hours of the GTA, right? Like,
Oh,
there's nothing. There's nothing you can
Nightmare,
do.
man. Nightmare. So anyways, crisis mostly averted. And you know what? I think for some reason, I'm just looking. Can you say something for me?
Sure.
Okay.
Something.
Something. It worked. All of a sudden, I'm like, wait, it looks like maybe you're muted. I'm all, what's the word? I'm disheveled this evening. I'm like, wait, is this actually doing what I thought it should be doing? So it does look okay. Right.
Well, if my audio is different, it's because it is. My headset died on me literally 30 minutes
Ah.
before we were recording. So
Oh man, I'm still waiting for your. Didn't you get a little preamp or something that you're still trying to wire up?
we did. We did. Well, I'm trying to troubleshoot the old preamp to see if it's
Oh.
worth keeping, worth spending the money on the new one, right? At
I-
this
I
point,
think-
I'm just going to rip it off.
I think at this point you're probably better off just buying a new little preamp, a cheap one off of Amazon or something. You can get them for. Well, actually, maybe not anymore with all of
Mm.
the tariffs. It's gone up by 50%. Who knows?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
What do you-
exciting.
What are you going to do, right? I just want cheap electronics. That's all I care about. That seems awfully shallow as I say it out loud. All right, let's it's not all I care about, trust me. Okay, so let's dive in. AWS news. We talked last week about Kiro Crew
Yeah.
specifically. I've continued to work with Crew this week, fiddling
Okay.
around with different agent configs and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't remember last week if I talked about this idea of like building a crew of custom agents and stuff, but it is
Oh, yeah.
pretty slick, pretty cool. So I stumbled across an article, which Kiro app should you pick? And it made me think of the
Mm.
conversation that we had last week. Kiro is like a family of services now, right? There's the IDE,
Yeah.
which is what, a fork of VS Code. There's the CLI, which came from, I think originally was it called Fig, right? And then it became the Kiro
Yes.
CLI.
Yeah, that's right.
There's the web version, the mobile version, and now Crew. I'm counting on my hand as I go to keep it all straight. That's 5 different versions of Kiro.
Right. 5 different places, portals you can access it from, essentially.
Yeah. So if you don't, you already have enough to think about, right? Trying to keep up with all of the changes that seem to happen multiple times a day now. But in addition to that, you also have now 5 different versions of Kiro that you have to figure out how the heck to use.
I'm still not sold on whether I should use one, but you've used it more than I did try it out.
Okay, so
You
before I
used it
give you
much
my
more than
opinion, when you say, nah, I tried it out, what were your thoughts?
Okay. So there's a lot of constructs that I do like. I do like the idea of the teams, like the specific tailored agents for various tasks.
Mhm.
I think that's a really good pattern. I hate the credit system.
Oh,
It's the same with GitHub Copilot.
Yeah.
Any kind of credit system for this API billing is terrible once you're used
Brutal.
to a subscription or API billing.
Yeah, brutal.
It's miserable.
Well, it's like I said to you the other week. It was like 2 weeks ago. I blew through my 1,000 credits in an afternoon.
Yeah, that's
Um,
the thing, right?
if
You
I
have no
can,
idea how
yeah.
much.
And you know what? In fairness, it wasn't a good comparison because I've got Claude Max versus Kiro Pro or whatever it was. Is $20 a month. But
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you. As soon as you start translating models to credits, uh, like,
Yeah.
okay, you're charging me 2.5 times the credits for Opus 5. You're charging me half a credit for GLM 5.3 or whatever. Okay, I get it, right? It makes sense. You know, frontier model, open weighted model, yada, yada, yada. But it's still really hard to move from a flat rate monthly subscription, whether it's something like Claude Max or the equivalent in Codex, to a credit-based system. And you're 100% right. It feels like Copilot. And you know, I was talking to somebody the other day about it. I'm like, dude, be really careful of your credits because they will go. If you leave it to the default, it could potentially go away really fast on you.
Yeah, and it's because it's credits, it's hard to wrap your mind around what the usage is, right? So it's just another step you have to make for accounting on how much am I actually using for this inference.
So how much do you have a Kiro Pro plan? Do you have a Kiro free plan? Like what were you trying out with Kiro?
I was just on the $20 plan, and I just had some kind of pet projects and scripts and research tasks.
And how many of your 1,000 credits did you use in a short period of time?
I burned through the thing in like a weekend. Like it's just you can't possibly compare that level. It's not a fair comparison, right? Because I'm paying for like the big OpenAI stuff, right?
Yeah,
and you get so much subsidized usage on that. But you know, it just kind of feels bad.
Well,
there's a lot of good things about Kiro, I will say.
Like
that I enjoyed.
Yeah, like I really like the interface. I like the idea of the issue tracker. Although I have those skills built in Claude to essentially do the same thing, right? Hey, go find all of the issues, and I just want you to start churning away on them. I think, I don't know if this is oversimplifying it. I think the unlock, though, is really the idea of the crew, where you can create those custom agents. Because let's be honest, do I need Opus 5 to do the vast majority of the coding that I do? Not nowadays.
No,
like GLM 5.3 it's a wizard. It did everything that I wanted. So, you know, I tied in a project to the issue tracker and said, I want you to use this new crew, right? My own custom crew. And I guess Opus is the orchestrator, Sonnet is the reviewer, and GLM is the coder. And it worked really well. And I only blew through about 300 credits versus 1,000 in a day. Now I still only have $5,000 in credits, and I still have a week. So, you know, and in comparison to your point, I just opened up, and take this with a grain of salt, right? Remember we talked about the Codex app, which is badly named, that shows me my credit usage. So let's see. Today, oh man, they've changed this interface. This can't be right, man. This can't be right. 402 million tokens in a day. What do we keep?
Have you been spinning it all day, like running?
Oh man, that herder thing and remote access and multiple tabs. Oh my god, right? So 400 million tokens, 12 billion tokens in 30 days, all running pretty much Opus 5. That'll give you a sense of how quickly you would blast through your credits in Kiro, because I think the last time I looked, Opus 5 was like 2.2 times the credit consumption.
Right, because it's on the premium kind of tier. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand the logic behind it. I mean, you're like, by logic, I mean your thinking. I still, I think I've made this point a couple times. I really think this is just a land grab. It's like, hey, if we can get you using our platform, and I notice it with myself with Claude, like I want to go use something else, but then I'm like, oh man, like I've got the skill here, my workflow works. I think it's kind of like the thing I harp on about all the time, this idea of IDE lock-in. Once you've invested enough time in getting that IDE the way you want, you could come out with the best IDE that I've ever seen, right? Am I
There's no way you're
am I gonna
switch. Yeah.
change? It would be tough. So I still think this is a bit of a land grab. You got to get people on that platform and get them used to using it, and they're probably not going to change.
Yeah, the benefits have to be really high for to pay that switching cost, right?
Yeah.
Mind you, like the way I've been doing a lot of thinking about how to use, like, what does it mean when we have access to tokens that are getting cheaper over time, right? Like we're getting the costs are generally going down for the same level of intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean for a developer to work in that kind of environment, right? It's probably like everyone's building all of these custom little tools to do solve their various problems. They're going wide and customizing their workflows.
Mm-hmm.
Like how many people have built Kanban or Jira clones or what have
Yeah.
you, right?
Yeah.
Or their own version control, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like part of being a developer is probably going to become like, what does my personalized development environment look like?
Yeah.
And can I port that to whatever harness or agent, or what does my personal harness look like? So like I'm not super convinced about this. This is why I like Pi so much, I think, is why I'm leaning towards Pi is like the place to be right now for me,
Mm-hmm.
is that I can customize everything, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Kiro is like
I think again,
super
yeah, I think that's, yeah, I can see that. And honestly, like there's a lot of friction for me to go to Kiro and open it up versus I'm in Herder, I type Claude, I'm done. Or I type Pi, I'm done, and away I go, right? So I have to, what I found with myself is I have to make a conscious decision. I'm going to task, I want to clear this backlog, and I'm going to specifically say I'll use Kiro to do that. I tie the issue tracker, yada, yada, and away it goes. But I have to make that decision versus Pi or Claude. It's almost being like, what's the word I'm looking for? My brain says unconscious, but that's not the right word. I am conscious, but I don't think about it, right? I'm just like, just bang away on the keyboard and away you go. Subconscious. There we go. Right.
Yeah.
I don't even think about it. That's where my workflow lives. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's an uphill battle, man. I think it's an uphill battle.
But you know, this is like the reason I'm getting here is because I'm a solo developer or whatnot, right? In terms of like my personal projects and whatnot, and work is similar, right? Like we kind of have free reign to do whatever with our AI environments, our coding environments. But if you are a team and a big org and you want to kind of iron out exactly what the workflows for your team should be, something like this makes a ton of sense. Because you have all the tools and workflows kind of spun up, and
I think that's
like a repo for that. But.
Yeah, I think that's a really important thing to point out, right? Like I think the audience might be different for Kiro Crew than you and I.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, like I'm not super convinced that the spec-driven development is the way to go, right? Like in terms of building useful tools for my purposes.
Yeah.
But if you have a complex environment, maybe it's the only way to go. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, this was I want to say a couple weeks ago, but it was much longer than that. When I used spec-driven development to build the Kanban board, right? This you were talking about it. This idea. I love whenever you give me the opportunity to say personalized software, right? when I decided that I needed a bespoke solution for my Kanban because the other thing had so many features that I knew I was never going to use, right? Overly complex. I tasked Kiro spec-driven development, and it was so over-engineered. Like
that's the thing.
It just. I'm sure if I had again, I don't want to sell it short because I think I've suffered more with Claude. And for whatever reason, I've decided that I'm willing to suffer with Claude and I'm less willing with Kiro. So in fairness, I think if I had pushed through the hard work at the beginning of using something like Kiro, maybe I would be more of a fan. But this goes back to my earlier point. I've invested the time and energy in a different harness, right? And am I willing to then recreate or redo that hard work and effort somewhere else?
Right, like your tool set is already tuned to Claude Code basically at this point. Like you're pretty locked in there.
Yeah.
And I mean, we say locked in, but like maybe it would take like a week or so of like effort to port over completely, probably.
Well,
maybe like something on that order, right?
Yeah, I do think it's actually would be much shorter than that because of some of the
Okay.
features I've seen in Kiro. As far as like the first time you load up Kiro, it basically said, hey, I see this stuff. Do you want me to import
Right.
it? And it pulled all my skills in, right? I was talking a couple weeks ago about the Skillify knockoff that I created from, I think it was Gary Tan that I heard in the
Tanstack stuff.
talk. Yeah. So then
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to build my own. We talked about this last week, right? It's important to build
Right.
your own skills so you understand how they work, yada, yada, yada. So I went and did that. Well, I've built a lot of skills since then based off of that skill. Very meta conversation. Skills, building skills. Where are we, right? So, but I went into Kiro and I was like, oh, damn, I have all these new skills. I don't see it. Maybe the import function is there and I just didn't notice, but I literally opened up a chat window in Kiro and said, hey, there's a bunch of new skills. Go check my Claude directory, pull them in. And it was like, yeah, I can do that for you. Pulled them all in. I don't know. I think there's a lot of headwind there that once you've sort of invested your time and effort in the cost to change can be challenging, right? I even noticed it with
Yeah.
Pi
And
for
yeah.
me.
I mean, it's like a big thing for me is like how open is the tool set I'm using? Like how easy is it to change the thing? Now, I think Hero Crew is open source, right? Like
It is
they
open
published it on.
source. Yeah, it is open source.
Okay.
You can see it in GitHub.
So you could go muck around and change things that you don't like, but you're starting from an opinionated place, right? So
Yeah.
as long as you're
Yeah.
okay with that.
Yeah, exactly. You made me think. I'm making a quick note here as we talk. It went into my head and then it left as quickly as it went in. Manual versus auto. Okay,
Yeah.
great. That'll jog my memory later. I don't know. You know what? I think, hey, everybody knows where my loyalty lies. I'm a fan of AWS. I will give them the benefit of the doubt on these tools. Will it be my primary tool? Probably not. Will it be a tool in my tool belt that when I want to just have something churn through a backlog for me and me not really have to, like, I've got good issues created, they're well structured, I'm happy with them, and I just want an agent and go and do that grunt work. It would be a tool that I think about, because one of the things that I did notice is there's a lot of "are you sure" in Claude still versus
Oh yeah.
Kiro Crew. Like I just said, here's the issue tracker, go to it, and I want you to clean these out. And if you're unsure, then ask. Otherwise, right? You know my rules of engagement. If you're changing the environment, which would affect cost, if you're changing that environment from a security perspective, you do not merge those. That's for me. Everything else, go to it, right? And I could see using Kiro for that if I just had a backlog that I had to get through.
Yeah, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
As long as you define that's like a super important way of working with these tools too. Is like what are the rules that are like ironclad
Mm-hmm.
that you don't want to break, and that's even like per project, right? Like
Yeah,
that's
per
like
project.
this is the design set I want. This is like the requirements. It must do this XYZ, and
Yep.
do not absolutely do these things, right? Stay within this bound.
I think I know we've talked about it. Is it Matt, the Grill Me skill? Matt, what's Matt's last name?
Pocock?
Pocock, that's it. Yeah. Like that skill to me, I know there's got a bunch of different versions, right? There's grill with docs, there's grill with not docs. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of them. I'm still using the original Grill Me. And that thing, it's rock solid, man. It creates those ADRs, which I always forget what the acronym stands for. But and my general rule of engagement is, like I said, these ADRs are immutable. You do not change them. These are the design decisions we made. You can work on the issues as they're related to the ADRs, right? We open issues off of those, and you're never to do anything that changes the cost, and you're never to do anything that would affect the security of that environment. And for the most part, there's been a few moments, which we'll talk about here in a bit, where it's kind of veered off course a little bit. And you have that, what the hell are you doing moment, right? Like, where did this come from all of a sudden? But for the most part, I think having a good, to your point, having a well-documented set of rules of engagement, and you're comfortable with an agent doing that, I don't think it matters if you're using Kiro Crew, Pi, Claude, whatever it might be. As long as it's sort of following what you want it to do and it's doing good work, I think you're okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
we'll leave Kiro alone. I agree with you. I love the interface. I'm not a huge fan of the credits. Just,
Yeah. Mostly like the tool,
yeah.
but yeah, the credits are
tough.
a pain point.
It's kind of like, trying to reverse engineer that to figure out, if I have 1,000 credits, how many am I burning if I'm using 2.2% of, or 2.2 times a regular credit? I'm sure it's well documented somewhere, but to your point, it's very similar to GitHub's solution or Copilot, where you got to figure out
which is just abjectly terrible. It's not a good experience.
I just don't want to do it. Okay. Yeah. So this is going to make me feel old, but EC2 turned 20 this week. I think yesterday or the day before.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
It started?
August 25th, 2006 was where they had a single instance type in a single region. It was an M1 small. And now, because we make fun of it on a regular basis, do you want to take a guess at how many, roughly, instance types there are to choose from on AWS? Oh, I lost your audio. I think that's you, not me. Guest has muted themselves. There we go.
Well, that's embarrassing. Good thing nobody heard that.
Yeah. What did you say? What was your guess that we didn't hear?
So are we counting like XL, XXL kind of levels, or like
we're just instant types and instance types?
500?
Oh, dude, you're not even close.
Not even close. Oh my God.
Not even close. Now take this with a grain of salt. More than 1,200 different instance types spread across 39 different regions. So one instance, one region to 1,200, more than 1,200 across 39 regions.
Okay. That's a lot of instance types.
It's a lot of instance types. Yeah.
Each of those is like, I guess that's like generational too, right? Like over 20 years.
Yeah.
How many times have you swapped out the hardware to increment that number, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot of different CPU combos. Yep. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I still have my original AWS account. I always, when I see these types of things, S3 is X numbers of years old. I'm like, I should go look. And then I get distracted and I don't look. But I remember in that original account launching EC2 classic instances, which there was no concept of VPC, right? Like you plunked an EC2 instance there with a public IP address on it. That's what you did.
Oh, wow. So they just exposed the VM basically and gave you an IP. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. How times change, right?
Yeah. No kidding. How many ways are there to spin up compute now in AWS?
Yeah. Lots of different ways, right? I think the other thing though, it's interesting, is for how long it's been around, the value prop for EC2 really hasn't changed, right? You can spin up compute in any capacity that you want or need at that moment in time, pay only for what you use with no commitments, and turn it off when you're done.
Yeah.
Still the same thing.
It's just gotten more granular, I guess, essentially.
More options. More choice.
Potentially.
Yeah, well, in theory, you could go up that stack, right? But you could still just infrastructure as a service, launch an EC2 instance, pay for when you need it, and turn it off when you're done. Like my Minecraft server. Yeah, yep. I still do.
Exactly that.
I have a Minecraft server. I have a Valheim server. To totally off track or off track, to totally steer us off track. I know a couple guys in the Discord channel that I hang around with are increasingly excited. I don't remember the exact date, but Valheim 1.0 is coming out very, very soon.
Ooh, coming out of early access. Wow.
Yes, finally, after how many years? And I know how to poke their or push their buttons every time. I just call it Viking Minecraft, and I get some angry responses. Yeah, they don't like that at all. Poke the bear. It's hey, you know what? It's pretty amazing to think that this has been around for as long as it's been around, but that value prop is exactly the same.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't, like, unless you're prepared to have, like, it's the exact same scenario, right? Like, unless you're prepared to have the data center and run it and run all the infrastructure yourself, you're going to use some kind of cloud.
Yep.
So,
and I don't know, I've always been the plumbing guy, right? Pulling
Yeah.
cables, racking gear and stuff. I don't really want to do that anymore. I just want to build stuff. I don't want to have to worry about the physical gear. So yeah, here we are. What else do we have? Let's see. There was a really interesting article, I think it was on the architecture blog, about building a unified AI agent architecture with
Oh yeah.
DynamoDB and Bedrock. And I thought this was interesting because we had talked about the fact a couple weeks ago that DynamoDB now supports, I'm going to just call it a vector database, right? And I think
Yeah.
we had both said, hey, we're going to go look at this for the projects that we had been working on. Did you ever, I'll put you on the spot, did you ever dive into DynamoDB Vector Store and make a decision one way or the other?
So it's my target to migrate to for once I get off my local machine. So I haven't quite gotten my second brain infra off of my
Yep.
local
Still
computer, but
running at home?
yep, still running at home. I
Yep.
mean, it's just it's all markdown files and
Yep.
just a regular vector DB, right, in
Yep.
Postgres. So
Yep.
nothing crazy going on, but
Yep.
that's what I'll migrate to probably next week. Actually, I'll make it a goal
Yeah.
next week.
Double check some of the features of the vector store in Dynamo, because after we talked, I immediately said, because I look at my solution, it runs on AWS. Okay. It's
Okay.
costing me this month, I'm probably on pace for about $100. Now, again, with a bit of caveat, I've been doing a lot of development on OrbitBrain or OpenBrain over the last, like there were just a couple days last week or the week before, I can't remember now,
Mm.
that accounted for probably like 85% of my total Bedrock spend for the entire month. And what is it?
Oh
It's
wow.
August 26th. So this is a
Yeah.
little bit of abnormal spending for me. I would suspect, based on what I've seen in past months, it would cost me about $50 a month, 50 to $60 a month to run the
To do
memory
it on
store
Dynamo.
on in the current architecture
Oh, okay.
with Aurora, Bedrock, and stuff like that. But Aurora is the biggest expense. Like it's
Right.
half to three quarters, even when I'm turning it off, because I've set the serverless config to 0, right? So like right now I'm not using it. It should be turned off. But there were a couple things, and you know what? I can't remember what the hell they were now. There were a couple particular features.
Okay.
It'll come to me after we stop talking. Damn, I'll,
Classic, as it always
yeah,
does.
never fails. But there were a couple features that I was using in Postgres, PG Vector, in Aurora that actually weren't supported yet as part of a vector store in DynamoDB. So I think I'm very
Okay.
similar to you in the sense that it probably makes a lot of sense for me long term, because I can't imagine how I would spend for the volume of what I'm doing, 30 to $50 a month in DynamoDB. That would be a big DynamoDB table, right? If you think about,
Now you'd have to do a lot of
a
Dynamo to
lot.
get that kind of cost.
Yeah, I did look at the metrics for the store, and I'm saving just over, well, close to 750 memories a month in the
Okay.
store. So by no, it's just me, but by no means a big number. So I would suspect that Dynamo Vector Store still makes a lot of sense for me, but there were a couple features there that didn't I couldn't take it what I had and just move it over. It wasn't
Probably
supported. So
there's some like clustering or searching that is different or
I
more
think it was
capable
something
on
with
Postgres.
search. Yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
something with the way it would search. But I still think, if you're interested in this kind of stuff, having a look at this latest architecture where they're tying Bedrock as your vector store, or not Bedrock, sorry, DynamoDB as your vector store, Bedrock as your LLM interface to, I don't know if that's the right way to think about it. That's the way I think about it. Makes
Yeah.
a lot of sense maybe to look at this if you're building something from scratch, right? You're starting.
Yeah. It's probably gonna end up being 5 to 10 times cheaper
I would
on
think so.
Dynamo, I would imagine.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. So
Assuming you can make it work at all.
yeah, like assuming that the features that you need are supported. This to me is just kind of on my radar as, hey, I'm going to come and I'll look at the AWS news releases for this. And as they introduce more features, because I'm sure they will over time, I'll have to go back and look in my my second brain, open brain, whatever I want to call it, go figure out what the notes were that said, hey, it won't work for what you're doing right now. And then just keep an eye open for those feature announcements. And when it's done, save a few bucks and move it over.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, other options, those aren't even the only two options you can use for this, right? Like you can use OpenSearch, which is probably going to be the most expensive.
Most expensive, yeah.
You can use S3, right? Like the S3 vectors for that. That's probably going to be comparable to DynamoDB, if not cheaper, depending on what you're doing.
Yeah. I think there was I think on the S3 vector store thing or vector tables, whatever they call it, I think when I first read about it, we're talking like scale. Like we're talking millions and millions of records. I have like 4,000 and change in like, I started in March. So what is that? 5 months. So you can kind of extrapolate if I'm storing 700, make the math easy and say 700 memories a month in a year, what I'm going to have 8,400 memories total.
Yeah, the rate is not concerning. The total size is probably going to be, I mean, it's going to be under a gig probably for sure. Right?
Yeah, I would suspect.
It's just Markdown.
Yeah.
You could probably even get away with LanceDB or SQLite, Like, that's what I'm doing locally is LanceDB. So
yeah, something quick and dirty locally. Yeah. I read somewhere somebody's like, I run my Open Brain, Second Brain on a Pi. And I'm like, okay, yeah, dude, you do you. Sure. I'm doing this on AWS because I use it as a way to learn more about how I can use this platform because that's what I do all day, every day. But yeah, hey man, run it as cheaply as you possibly can, whatever works for your budget.
Yeah, like that's why I turned off Postgres, but I could easily swap it over to like a Spot instance or even like an ECS Spot task.
Yeah.
And mount an S3 bucket, right? Because you can do that as a file system now.
Yeah, you can do it as a file system. Yeah, exactly. All right, what is next? I just stumbled across this one today. AWS is buying the company, not the project, Duck Labs. So have you ever used
DuckDB?
Yeah, DuckDB.
Yeah, DuckDB, it's great.
Yeah.
It's a useful tool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been on my radar, but I was trying to think of it when I saw this article. I'm like, I know I've talked about this with people multiple times, but I don't recall ever actually using it for anything. No real details at this point. The open source part of the product AWS says will still exist. And then the sort of other part of the project will get enveloped. I'll use the word enveloped, swallowed by AWS. And the two original folks who built it are moving over to AWS. But yeah, I would think you'll see it in some of the database adjacent solutions in AWS. Maybe like we were just talking about S3, maybe S3 tables or something like that. Maybe it's what powers it under the hood. I don't know.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. Like DuckDB's for like huge big data tables of Parquet and JSON files, right?
Yeah.
CSV, right?
Yeah.
So if you have like big columnar data stores that you don't want to shove into Redshift, you can use DuckDB to process that pretty quickly, right? So that makes sense. That's probably it. You know what?
Makes sense, right?
Yeah, like what are the use cases? Maybe it's for like analytics and things like that. Like
maybe Athena, because Athena's S3 under the hood, right? You're generally consuming the data out of. I think you can do a lot of stuff with Athena, but anytime I've used it, I've always pointed at S3 for some sort of log ingestion or whatever. Typically AWS services that are writing to logs or writing to S3 that I want to be able to just run a SQL query against those logs. So maybe it's under the hood there. Who knows? Uh-oh. My echo's reminding me of something. Starts in 10 minutes. It's telling me to go through my slides for the community day on Saturday.
Oh, good luck. Did you get a speaking?
I did. Yeah, confirmed.
Slot?
Yeah, confirmed. So I'll be
awesome.
The echo is yelling at me in the background. So yeah, I've been obsessing over slides now for the last week. I was joking that it won't be quite as bad as my old job, where we would get in the car in the morning. We're going to the head office for some reason. My boss is driving. I'm in the passenger seat. and we're changing slides on the way to the meeting,
On the highway.
right? Oh yeah. We're stuck in highway and traffic on like the QEW or whatever. Like, no, change the order, move this here, move that here. He would, if he was listening, he'd get a chuckle because it didn't bother him at all. But man, I was just like, oh my God, I'm so stressed out, dude. I remember these slides and you're changing it all. And I'm the one that has to stand up there and talk. And I'm just going to be like, here's a slide.
This one.
Yeah, here's a slide. Let's go to the next slide. I'm looking for the slide that I remember, right? Yeah. So it won't be that bad, but I am obsessing a little bit on the slides. So anyways, the echo's reminding me that I should be doing that. Any other AWS news that you have for the week?
Nothing crazy with AWS. The DuckDB thing I just found, apparently the devs of AWS are using it internally as like the first step in any data or analytics work. So that's probably why they bought it.
Yeah, there you go. Right. Yeah. They use it so much, they might as well own it.
Yeah.
And if you can spend, I was going to say, if you can spend like, what did we say? Like $200 billion on data centers for AI. I guess you can buy a 2-person project of some sort. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You've got that in your expense account.
Yeah. That's petty cash.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Just fill out a piece of paperwork. Anything else on the AWS front?
There was that news item we kind of glossed over last week or the week before about the new sign-in flow. And this just kind of came up on my radar because someone asked a question. But so if you have an existing account or AWS SSO Identity Center set up, you won't be affected. You can you'll just keep signing in the regular way. But if you're spinning up a new account, you can connect, I think there's like Apple ID, GitHub, Google to that account as like an OIDC kind of auth.
No way.
Setup. Yeah. So a new way to provision kind of your root account is to tie to those org identities.
All of them sound good except for GitHub, because every time I turn around, GitHub seems down. So
you're having problems. They're at 1.9.
Oh my God.
1.9 of availability.
So don't tie your authentication to that. I don't know. That's interesting. I think I would probably. Well, okay. So here's a question then. I know we talked about this, but I didn't remember. Do I still have the old option? Like, can I still just tie it to an email address? Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. My immediate reaction, I really love is it called the root management service? So like I'll provision an account and then immediately nuke the root user. Once I have like most likely SSO or something like that to get to it, then I go over to that little root management or run a script and go, remove those credentials, please. I don't want those unless I absolutely need them, and then I'll put them back in place. So that's still really cool, I guess. Makes a lot of sense. Just more options.
Yeah, it's probably more for like your individual builder accounts. Like if you're doing a lab or something, you can spin up use it for your builder ID and whatnot.
So wait, are you telling me that I could tie it to Skill Builder?
Potentially.
Oh God.
I'm not sure.
That would be worse than GitHub.
It would.
God, every time I try to log into that site, so let's use this as a transition into personal news. I passed my AI practitioner on Monday night.
Nice.
Yeah. And that is, I don't care what anyone says, that's not a foundational level exam. No.
Yeah, it sounds like they kind of dressed up the old AI/ML exam and moved it over into a developer kind of situation.
Yeah, you know what I found really interesting with the exam? Question 1. You have 4 options. Spell AWS.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Question 2. You're a developer. You have 40,000 documents that you need to process, and you need to be able to ensure that the quality of the responses from engine XYZ is appropriate based on your use case. What is the I'm going to even mess it up. What is the measurement mechanism that you would use? F1, recall, area under the curve. So question 1 is, how do you spell AWS? And the next one is, as far as I'm concerned, data scientist level stuff. Right? Like,
right. Explain your master's in data science.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
Right. Makes sense.
And the thing that just baffled me about this exam is, and again, I think sometimes I'm too close to this. So maybe I just,
Mm,
what's that old saying? You don't see the forest for the trees. But I'm like,
right.
everything that I do in AWS around AI is a managed service. Everything,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
then a question on the foundational level exam is expecting me to know data scientists, machine learning stuff. But everything I see from AWS about running AI on AWS is use Bedrock. You don't need to know anything. You just start it up. You point it at Bedrock knowledge bases. It's all managed. Throw in a foundational model, and you're golden. I think you're
Yeah.
exactly right. Like, I don't think that exam really has an identity. It
There
doesn't.
should be two exams, probably.
Yeah. Well, they have a
There should be
machine
two
learning.
exams.
They have a machine learning associate level cert now as well. But this one just
Mm,
feels like it's stuck in no man's land,
yeah.
right?
I feel like we're kind of in a weird spot tech wise too, right? Like there's a lot of really good open weight models that are becoming available and becoming easy to fine tune to get equal or better or similar performance to the foundation models that exist, right, for your specific use case.
Mm.
So that might change what you see in the wild. I mean, you'd have to have a pretty invested shop to want to go and do that
Yeah.
work to trade your own models. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Interesting exam. And the reason I was thinking about it is, oh my God, skill builder.
it's not useful.
Oh my God. Okay.
Well, I mean,
It's,
it's useful.
yeah.
Hard to navigate.
It's hard to navigate. It's tough to log into.
Yeah.
Like, do I really need to give you a 6-digit token every time I want to log into the training site? Like, I don't know. Then I get logged in and I can't figure out how to get logged out, for crying out loud. Like, I try to log in and it's like, no, I don't want to use that account now. I want to use over here.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. There was something else I was thinking of. Oh, like, how do you register for an exam now? So I go in and I go to the certification page. It
Mm,
kicks me over to
yeah.
Skill Builder. I try to log in. It kicks me back somewhere else. I'm just like, this just seems. This seems
Never
more
been good.
painful. Yeah, it's always been slightly suspect. There's lots of really fantastic content there if you can find it.
That's the thing, right?
Yeah,
It's can you
yeah,
sift well
yeah.
enough?
Yeah, do you have the patience and the perseverance to continually filter down the responses until you find what you actually want or
Right.
what you feel you need
Yeah.
to pass an exam or what do they call them? They have the badges and stuff now. I feel like I'm really throwing a lot of shade at AWS tonight. I don't know. I'm cranky or something, I guess. I don't know. What's on your personal project news for the week?
Personal projects for the week. I mean, I've been doing a lot. I've just been consumed by thinking about how do I make my personal harness work the way that I want it to. So I'm
Hmm.
still constantly thinking about that. And I've killed a ton of projects that were just sitting around and accumulating dust basically.
Yep.
Like I've noticed I don't know what it is. It's the barrier to entry to starting projects is zero now, right?
Hmm.
Like the activation energy is zero. So it's super easy to go off and start all kinds of projects.
Hmm.
And there's something missing. Like I'm missing that little refinement phase where I'm like deciding whether the thing is actually worth doing, you know? And that's kind of like, I don't know, it's burning me out a little bit. I'll be honest. But
Yeah, you know what? It reminds me a lot of the very early days of the internet, where
yeah.
um, the process of projects was, I have a great idea for a project, I'll buy the domain name.
Oh
And
yeah.
then you own a domain name or a lot of domain names and then never do shit with any
Right.
of them. Right. But then you're like, wait, do I really want to get rid of that domain? Because this is the year that I will build that perfect, that service, man. Like this is yacht level
It's coming.
service, right? Like I'm going to have that yacht with, my helipad and all the
Oh
crazy
yeah.
billionaire stories, like the evil genius billionaire stories. And then you never do it. And I agree with you. Like, okay, so I'm going to ask a follow-up question. How did you decide which projects to nuke?
So it's the criteria were like, do I care about this thing? Like, is this something that is my attention actually invested in it? Is it something that's interesting still to me to do? Because if it's like like that's kind of like a bar, a huge bar, right? Like, is this thing still grabbing my attention enough for
Mm-hmm.
me to grind on it and keep working on it?
Yep.
And I think that's the main one, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
if, it's kind of like that personal metric of like, if is my taste, like your own personal taste for determining whether the thing is worth doing, right, or whether it's good.
Yep.
Like, if I'm building something that I like, then surely there's something there, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. It reminds me again of going back to early days of cloud. It's a horrible analogy when you say it out loud, but like I remember when EC2 first came out, and one of the
yeah,
value props for EC2 was this idea of pets versus cattle, right?
mm,
You
yeah,
care about your pet, so therefore, in the old days, right? I remember you would name your servers, right? Like those servers would have a name, and you would know the
right,
servers by their name. All right, they were your pets. And then early days of EC2, it like I said, it's a horrible analogy, pets versus cattle. What happened is you didn't name things anymore because they were ephemeral. They came and they went, right? And if
right,
something went wrong on the server, you didn't save it, you just replaced it. It was interchangeable. And I think that's a great analogy for AI and the fact that the bar, to your point, is effectively zero. Like if you think of something, you can build it, and I still, you'd have a hard time convincing me that that isn't a good idea right now. It goes
yeah,
back to my theme that I love talking about. It's a personalized software project. It's something that's bespoke for what you want, and I'm not gonna I feel like I want to use a fancy word like disparage somebody about them being excited about something they want to build that's for them to
right,
use. I'm not going to give them any grief about that. Vibe coding, spec driven development, whatever it is, man, you go build what you get jazzed up about. But I think, again, to your point, it's very similar, right? Like these things are so interchangeable now. You have to have a way to weed out the stuff that you thought was interesting, but as you
yeah,
dove into it a little more, you weren't quite as interested as you thought. And it's okay to walk away from that. Um, I've done it. I've been doing it over the last couple of weeks. And the way I do it is very methodical. Methodical?
mm,
Maybe that's overselling it. Um, what I've done, I'm easily distractible, right? And I will be like, this is a cool project. I'll start working on it. And then I'll lose interest in it.
yeah,
Okay. And because, real life gets in the way, work, paying the
yeah,
bills is always a good thing. So you go off and work on important stuff. And then
right,
something's in the back of your head. You're kind of like, I should go work on that project again. And rather than just getting rid of it, I'm like, no, I'll spend a bit more time because I'm sure if I work on it a little more, I'll like it a little more. Right.
yeah,
But what I've done now, I'm using my brain for this. And I literally just say,
that's
show
good.
me all the projects. Yeah, not this brain, the brain that we built in Aurora.
Yeah,
This brain is a little too easily influenced when it comes to personal projects, right? I'll keep that alive another
yeah,
month or another week or whatever. So what I've started doing is I go into my second brain, open brain, whatever you want to call it, and I'm like, show me all the projects and show me what we've committed to those projects in the last 4 weeks.
mm,
And
that's a
if
good
I
way to
have
do
like
it.
two
What have we actually worked
commits,
on?
yeah, if I have two commits on a project versus 200, just kill that other one. Like, I'm
Yeah,
not going to kill it. I have all the code. Maybe I do want to come back to it later on, but I'm just kind of looking at where I'm spending my actual time. I have lots of ideas, right? Just like I used to own lots of domain names, but I think you just have to be um, cutthroat about it. Like you have to kind of be
yeah,
discerning. Discerning is the right word, I think.
yeah, discerning. There's a lot of pruning you can do, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of like, and you can spin up prototypes really quickly, which is nice. But like,
Yeah.
you can also create a convincing dashboard or website for whatever project pretty quickly too, right?
Yeah.
Without
Yeah.
going in and polishing it and making it as good as it can possibly be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I think that's great. I think, the idea of just being discerning about your projects, no different than the old days with all sorts of domain names. Like I have a buddy from university. We still laugh about the stupid ass domain names we've bought and we've purchased over the years and then never done anything with. I bet you I probably still own a few of them, right? Like you just
probably.
I'm just like, I don't want to get rid of that because this is the year I will work on that. Now, speaking of sort of building a prototype very quickly.
Oh yeah.
My wife has her very first iPad. It's like that thick. Okay. It's like laptop thick.
Like an original.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like I hurt my back when I lifted up off the couch, right? I'm like, you forget how heavy these friggin' things were. I pick it up and I'm like, oh my God, what is this? So she keeps it because she has an old word game that she loves that the developer is long gone. I looked it up. I think they stopped developing it in like pre-pandemic, like well before the pandemic, like 2015, 2016 or something like that. And she loves this game, still plays it. So on the weekend, because I don't have anything better to do, I'm like, we could probably build that game. We could build that game.
Yeah.
So I did. I basically sat down with Claude in an afternoon and I said, this is the game. I want you to go research the game so you understand the concept of the game. Okay. But we're not going to just rebuild that game. But I want you to understand the basic rules, the layout of the board, so it's familiar, right? Okay. And then you and I are going to brainstorm ideas on how to make this our game, right? And dude, it's pretty much all I've done for 2026, right? We've talked about this is for me, it really shifted for me early in 2026. We talked about, I remember in 2025, as we ended it, I think we had an episode that was like 2026 is going to be the year of the agent. And I want to say it's because we're both very smart and we're able to understand what's going to happen in the industry. I would suspect it was probably more just shit luck, but it really did change the way I've approached everything I've done this year. I built this game for her in an afternoon. And then she started playing it and she's like, it would be cool if you could do blah. I'd be like, I could do that. And then I'd be like, refresh your iPad. It isn't an iOS game. It's a web-based game. I didn't want to mess around with iOS and everything. I was
going to say, did you make a native app or not?
No, screw that. Maybe, but I think it's just going to stay web-based. And I would literally come up to the office, bang away for 10 minutes, go back to the kitchen. I go refresh. And she's like, well, I was just using it. I'm like, no, you asked for a feature. It's there. She's like, no, it can't be. It can't be there.
There's no way.
Refresh. And there it is. And I drone on to her all the time about this crazy shit. And, and I think she finally realized it. She's like, but you just went upstairs and you came back. And how is that possible? And there it is. Right. So she's been playing this, this word game now for about, I guess, been about 4 days. I had a blast building it. I thought of like animations we could create. It built all the animations in the web app. Like that
sounds so fun, honestly.
It was a lot of fun. I suck at word games, so I look at it and I'm like, I'm glad you like this. I'm not going to play this fucking game. Like, it's just going to make me angry. Like, I realize that I have a very thin grasp on the English language when I play a word game, and I'm like, dude, I can't think of anything more than a 4-letter word. This is makes me feel bad about myself. But I'm glad you enjoy the game. So yeah, I built the whole thing, right? Just a simple word game. All based, I would call this pretty much vibe coding. Like there wasn't a real plan for this. It was just like, this is what I want.
Reproduce this thing.
Let's make it. And we're going to change the rules a little bit. So she can trade tiles and stuff like that now that she couldn't do before in the other game. There's bonuses you can get and ways to like really ramp up your points that you couldn't do in the other one. And I would suspect I'll get some more feedback from her. And probably work more crazy features into this thing, be some sort of weird ass Franken game at some point. But, that's one of the things I love about this. You just think of a project and you can build it, right? In a weekend. So good. So good.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, lots of fun. I still want to see your card game. I know you talked about it a while
Oh,
ago,
the
but
card game. Oh my God.
you've been so focused on the harness that it's derailed your
Yeah.
card game.
You know what's hard about games is making them fun, it turns out. It turns out that the hard part is actually making an interesting activity,
Yeah,
and the easy part is the quote unquote easy part is getting the engine
yeah.
working.
It's so funny that
Who
you
would have
say that
thought?
because, like in middle school, you know, I wasn't necessarily middle school and high school. I wasn't necessarily a cool kid, but I used to hang
Oh
around with
yeah.
a bunch of guys and we would make board games. Like literally,
Oh
that's
yeah.
how geeky I was. And you think back on now, and I'm like, you're like those games sucked, man. Like we thought they were the best thing ever, right? And you think in
Yeah.
30 years later, you're like, dude, that was stupid. But you would at the time it was awesome. So I know what you mean, like actually making something engaging and fun and that somebody would want to come back and play again. Folks that
Yeah.
design board games, video games, and stuff like that. There's like a serious talent there that you can't replace with AI.
Well,
You
there's
can't.
so many things you have to think about or
Yeah.
consider to make
Yeah.
an engaging good game. I figure if I do 100 more games, I'll have something worth sharing.
Yeah. Oh
You know,
yeah. Yeah.
like
It's a grind. It's just like anything else. It's a grind. You gotta pay your dues, keep building shitty games until finally you're like, this is the one, right? And then you get your yacht.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Speaking of games,
Hopefully.
we're totally digressing at this point, but talk about the design of fantastic games. I found a game called, I think it's called Rock Band. It's a board game, and you
Rock
literally
Band.
start.
Okay.
You're a rock star who starts with
Okay.
like local gigs, and then you try to move through. So then you get radio play, and then you start playing like
Okay.
bigger,
Yeah.
gigs in bars and then arenas and stuff. I might spend my dollars on that. I think actually, as I say it out loud, I think it was in an article from Will Wheaton that I read, and I was like, what is this? And I
Oh yeah.
followed it, and it was on Board Game Geek or something like that, like
Oh yeah.
Rock
I
Band
think I found it.
1977 or something like that. I think it's got like a dude in the quintessential tight jeans from like 80s rockers with like long hair and the guitar. If
Yeah.
you're looking at that, that's the game. And the thing that caught me with it, you were talking about what makes good games. Like there's a certain tactile uh aspect of great games. Like there's
Yes.
like you look through the pictures, like there's little pieces, there's cards you move around, there's dice, like there's a whole experience to a good game that is a
Yeah. It's like a
skill that
sensory
is, yeah, it's sensory,
thing.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
like that makes that game unique. Okay, so yeah, we've gone from AI, AWS to a board game podcast. So let's I said earlier I'm easily distracted. So I had a good news story about building a game. On
Mm.
the bad news part of personal projects, Opus. Oh my god.
Oh my God, it's painful, eh?
Oh my god. Like so.
That's the wordiest. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to keep this family friendly, but I could use a lot of spicy language at this point. We talked
And
about
please
this
hold me to
last week.
Fable for anything I need to ship.
Really?
Realistically.
Yeah, you're using Fable.
Yeah.
What is going on with Opus? So here's what happened to me last week. I spend a lot of time thinking about skills, building my workflow,
Mm.
right? And I know it's I'm going to use the word non-deterministic system, but you build
Right.
skills with descriptions in those skills, at
Yeah.
least the way I understood it, so that when you run a prompt, Claude is basically loaded in that metadata and is able to say, oh, you're asking me to do this. I have a skill to help me with that. I'm going to go follow the instructions in the skill with tools or whatever,
Right.
right? At some point last week, Opus just decided it was no longer going to do that. Like, I mean at all. Like, I was like,
Just not reading
what?
any of your skills?
None.
Wow.
So I have a very, it goes back to sort of the guardrails that we were talking about. Like, thou shall never do this, thou shall never do that kind of thing. I have a very specific way that I want an issue to be opened, right? So I'm working with
Mm.
Claude on something and I'm like, okay, yes, that is that describes a unit of work that we want to do, open an issue. Because my thought process is maybe you, Claude, Opus, whatever model, will do that, or maybe Pi will. So I want a well-described issue so that me, another agent, Claude, somebody has enough information that they could go off and do that work. That's the goal,
Yeah.
right? And I've refined that over time. And I have, I've read documents about what makes a good issue. I've had Claude go off and sort of, hey, this is what I think should be in the issue. You go do your own research and you tell me what you think should be in. And we compare notes and we come up with something. And it was going great until it wasn't. And it's so funny, man. Like this is the double-edged sword of these things. You get so used to it working a certain way. Okay. And I don't even know what made me do it. It had been working this way, nice structured issues. They were short. They weren't opused in the sense that it was like 87 paragraphs in an issue. Like I had really,
concise.
Be concise, man. So I trimmed it down a lot and everything. And I don't even know what made me do it. I was like, geez, I'm going to go over to GitHub and just have a look at something. And I just happened to open an issue. And my first thought was, what the is this? Right? This isn't an issue. It's not even a unit of work anymore. It's a series of questions that somebody needs to answer. Well, that's not an issue, right? That's the design conversation we should have had before you opened this issue. So I was like, well, what the hell's going on? Oh yeah, oops. Sorry about that. And I'm like, okay, well, that
was my mistake.
Yeah, oops, yes, yeah. Oh well. Okay, so let's go through all the open issues and tell me which ones are design decisions. And a large percentage of those issues were design questions. They weren't programming tasks anymore. So I'm like, well, what happened? And it's like I'm like, I have a skill. Here's the name of the skill, right? Create a good issue. It's very creative, the name of my skill. Create a good issue.
I feel like if you name the skill right, it should make it easier to use, right?
Yeah, it has a description. That's the whole point of the description, is that's your metadata. You load the metadata in order to manage your context, and that metadata says, if you need to open an issue, these are the instructions. So why didn't you follow it? And essentially, I shared a screenshot with you, and I don't know if exactly the situation, but essentially it said to me, well, I know how to open an issue. I don't need a skill to open an issue. And I'm like, really? That seems like a new feature to me, because you have skills, and that's the whole point of skills. So you know how I fixed it? I turned it into manual mode. It said something along the lines of, when I'm in auto mode, if I know how to do this stuff, I'm less likely to read and use a skill because I could just do it myself. And I'm like,
okay.
Well, that doesn't seem normal. Put it in manual mode, all my skills came back to life. But I had to say yes to every single thing known to man. Is it okay I run an ls command? I'm like, are you shitting me? Like, like we've gone from like YOLOing it is too far, right? Like I'm not YOLOing anything, but I've gone from one extreme to the other. Like you can run an ls command. It's okay. You can run a copy command. I was going to lose my mind. So I gave up. And this is where it gets really interesting. I gave up. I'm like, fuck it. I'm putting it back in auto mode. Put it back in auto mode. Damn thing started reading my skills again.
Sure, because it's in context now.
What the hell happened? Like in the span of probably less than a day, because I thought like I've
patched it.
Maybe. I've joked with you before that there's moments where I just feel like picking up my laptop and going wing, using it like a boomerang and just chucking it, right? and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to survive manual mode. This is crazy. I'm not creating the settings JSON file for every freaking command known to man. No, those days are gone. So I'm like, oh, screw it. I'll just put it back in auto mode and see what it does. And it started reading the damn skills again. Makes no sense.
I bet you they got enough complaints. Like that's like a huge user flow issue, right? Like if you get kicked back to manual, Like if it's skipping all of your skills, that's like the instructions for
Yeah.
how to interact with your project and repos. And if it's not doing that, then you're getting garbage results. So I
Yeah.
bet you that's a harness fix that they
You know what?
published.
You know what the funny part about this episode is going to be? It's going to be our most watched episode or listened to episode because all I've done is bitch the whole time.
It's like barely the regular structure. Like there's some
Yeah.
news items in
I've
here,
just
which is like,
digressed
I
all
think
over about anger the whole time. Ugh. Yeah. The YouTube algorithm will pick it up and go, "Oh, dude, we everybody needs to watch this guy lose his shit about Opus 5." Okay.
yeah.
Any other project news on your side?
Nope, not really. I'm just doing a lot of really deep thinking about how I want to use Pi and agents and these kind of tools going forward.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna build another harness.
Can I ask one follow-up question on Pi? Do you have a coding plan somewhere, or are you paying by API request?
I'm using Codex in Pi.
Oh, Codex in Pi. Okay, so you've got your
Yeah.
Codex, you got your Codex subscription. You've tied that
Yeah.
to Pi, and you're letting Pi be the harness versus Codex harness, essentially.
That's right.
Okay.
But I've also got it such that my agents can invoke Claude or Codex or vice versa, right? So through the
Yeah.
command line.
Yeah.
interface.
Yeah,
That's how I'm
very
getting
good.
around that.
Yeah. I have been paying per use for GLM 5, is it 5.4, 5.3, 5.4,
Mm.
whatever the latest one is. It did show up in my list. Remember I was saying I have, it's not ZAI. Is it ZAI? There's too many companies now.
Yeah.
I forget. ZAI,
There's-
right? Moonshot is
Yeah.
Kimi, right? ZAI
That's
is
right.
GLM. So when I first tried the latest version, which I think is 5.4, it basically gave me hey, you don't have access to this. And I tried it again a few hours later and was like, yep, you've got it. So I have been paying per request. I have a coding plan with ZAI.
Okay.
And I got to tell you, man, that thing
It's solid.
is a workhorse. Like it writes
Dude.
really good code.
So last month I exhausted both of my, or sorry, not last month, last week when I was finishing up some of those Kaggle competitions, I exhausted both my Claude and my Codex limits for the week. So I had to use OpenRouter, and I was like, okay, what's the most competent cheap model I can use here?
Yeah.
And DeepSeek Flash 4 had just come out,
Yeah.
and yeah, it gets the job done.
Yeah.
And it's dirt cheap, so
Yeah.
it's pretty dang
Yeah.
good. And I
And
use
that-
5.3 as well.
5.3 is it 5.3 is
Yeah.
the latest one? Went 5.2,
I think
5.3, or are we
so.
at 5.4?
I
I don't even know anymore.
I think it's 5.3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just wake up in the morning and try a model.
New models.
Yeah,
appear, yeah.
see what's the worst that could happen, right? That's a nice segue into our first story. Thomson Reuters launches its own custom-built LLM based off of Qwen.
Yeah, this is kind of a thing that you're going to see more and more, I feel like.
Yeah.
So
Now, not for the
what
regular
they-
person, right? They spent $40 million of
Right.
investment to modify Qwen for their specific domain expertise. But I think to your point, right? Larger enterprises makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and it's like, so you spent $40 million to fine tune a model based on your company architecture, documents, workflows, that kind of thing, right?
Mhm.
You also now have access to all of the NVIDIA tooling, like the Claw setup, to host and store all your data.
Yeah.
So you can kind of set up your own internal flywheel of like training better and better agents and workflows.
Yeah.
So you're going to see that happen more and more, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I would
Moving forward.
suspect very much like the hacking stories, right? Like once one company came out and said our model hacked, the other ones are like, so did ours, so did ours. It's just as good. So I would
Yeah.
suspect in very short order, we're going to hear about other companies using open weighted models. And it grabbed my attention just because we had talked, wasn't it? Like last week where we said, on Hugging Face, Qwen was the model with the most derivatives, like something like 150,000 derivatives of Qwen had been put in the Hugging Face repo. So that's what really grabbed my attention. A lot of what I read was news releases. So it'll be interesting to see if they ever release like real metric data on how this thing performs. But, purpose built for their business. I think you're going to see a lot of larger companies do this.
Yeah, like if you have a data set that is like really narrow and you have like a task that is testable enough that you can just set an agent to fine tune on that workflow, you're going to get good results, right? Like,
Yeah.
or better than foundation models probably. So
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what they said was, like they're using it, for, I don't want to, misspeak. My memory is that they're using this new model for primarily non-coding tasks, if I remember, like more
yeah,
business related stuff, like legal, HR,
legal
things like
tasks. Yeah.
that. Yeah. So pretty cool. Next thing you mentioned, Open Router, Stripe,
Oh yeah.
$7.5 billion for Open Router.
Yeah. That's a big buy, but I mean, that's the place to go if you want to spend, if you just want to spend tokens, like dollars for tokens, raw conversion.
Yep.
There's not
Yep.
really a better place. There's that and there's Bedrock, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much. And I think it'll be interesting. Again, just like crystal ball gazing here. I wonder if you start to see AWS has got to be in an interesting position, right? Because they've invested all this money in the frontier models, like the amount of
right.
cash they've thrown at OpenAI, the amount of cash they've thrown at Anthropic. But at the same time, like, wouldn't it, like, for me, and this is again probably an oversimplification of it, because I don't understand this stuff. To me, Stripe is a payment platform. And I know that's really simplifying what Stripe is, but it is. It's a
Yep.
payment platform. So you tie Open Router to it, where people are paying for tokens to use different
Right.
models. It seems like a no-brainer, right? Why not just route all those payments through us? You're already using it anyways for something. We'll get our slice of each one of those transactions. And to me, when I read this, I was like, I wonder how long it'll take before you start seeing all sorts of models on Bedrock.
I mean, what's the cost of spinning up an open weight model? Like how much could it possibly? What's the incidental, like the additional marginal cost of spinning up
Yeah,
whatever new Quen and hosting it on demand for AWS? It can't be that bad, right?
can't be that bad.
Comparatively,
And do you think
yeah.
they're actually hosting those models, or they're just the interface to make an API call to the actual platform wherever that's hosted? Maybe it is hosted on AWS, but maybe AWS isn't managing the solution. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like, I wonder if they're just the middleman. They're just routing your request.
I know that's probably somewhat true for the foundation models, like for GPT and Anthropic, right? Because they
Yep.
have those connections to their clouds.
Okay.
But I'm sure they're hosting. I'm sure they're doing both, right? They're hosting it. They have the compute. They're spending the capex for it. So
Yeah.
would be
Yeah.
crazy not to.
Yeah. A couple other interesting factoids with this. I need to read more, but Stripe used the term the singularity. Not like what people are
Oh boy.
thinking about. Yeah, oh boy.
Oh.
That's exactly what I thought too, right? But they basically said to their investors that the singularity began January 1st of this year. And that's in their investor letter. But I think
Huh.
really what this is essentially that the growth on Open Router, I had the numbers and I'm looking at my cheat sheet. I can't find them right now. Like the token growth on Open Router was insane. And I think
Oh
for
yeah.
7.5 billion or $8 billion at this point in stock, right? So you're not cash. It would only get more expensive at this point. So I guess if you had the opportunity to get it and you think that you're essentially the payment platform for all of this going forward, hey, you probably got a deal in theory.
That's that's probably. I mean, that's a great piece of business to capture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wonder if OpenRouter was using Stripe at all to begin with. But
I don't know.
anyways, yeah, I found the numbers. It's like a 14x increase since
Wow.
February.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Yeah. Well,
It's
and
like
just think about
7.3 trillion
wow. And think about
tokens a
what
week.
we talked about last week, where we were talking about Hugging Face and the repos and like the growth in agents making API
Yeah.
calls, and or not making API calls necessarily, but going and grabbing the models that they needed. Like, you can only imagine, right? If I have this set up, my agent just goes and pays for the tokens it needs. It's an agent buying those tokens on my behalf for work that I'm doing. And I would suspect at some point, if it's not already happening, I would suspect that that's what's going to happen with a lot of these things is agents are just going to be doing that work themselves.
Yeah, well, you think about like what's the capability right now of like the best open weight model that you can use, right?
Yeah.
And you think that models are probably going to keep getting better as we increase the scale of compute, right? Like as you get more chips available to train on and run inference on, the unit costs get cheaper. So the volume keeps going up because, it's cheaper to use more intelligence. So
Yeah.
people just keep using more intelligence, right? For various tasks. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. I do have to read more. I want to read more about the idea of the singularity because that really grabbed my attention. I was like, oh, okay. I don't think they mean like AGI singularity, but maybe just an inflection point on maybe how they see people or other agents using tokens. Maybe I don't know. I have to look into it a little more. What's next? 2 OpenAI related articles. The first is, I would call it jalapeno because that's more fun. But OpenAI has their new inference chip, Jalapeno.
Okay.
And
From Kerberos?
I don't know. Is it Kerberos that made this chip, or are they making it, or Cerebus, or however you want to say that, some mythical creature?
Well, they bought them, right? So it must be.
Oh,
through
did
them.
they? I didn't know that.
I think so.
Really? Oh, I'll take your word for it.
I feel like we covered it.
Well, I know we covered something last week about Cerebus and OpenAI. I didn't realize that OpenAI bought them. I thought there was just some sort of chip deal there. I can't keep it straight anymore,
maybe.
man. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
But this is OpenAI's own chip. Let's see here. I wrote some stats down. Not that by any means am I a chip. I don't know, guru.
Expert, connoisseur.
Yeah, they're a connoisseur. I like that, a chip connoisseur. A 1.5 to 1.9 times more work per watt. Much lower latency, up to 3.5 times lower latency than an NVIDIA chip, the GB200s and GB300s. I don't know what generation that is versus what they're running now, but you've got better latency. What else is here? This is the first chip they've built on their own silicon. What else? Yeah, they got some wattage ratings and stuff like that if you're into that kind of thing. I just thought it was just caught my eye because I was listening to somebody talk the other day and they're like kind of this chip business, right? NVIDIA's there, you've got all the big players there, and the theory was that chips are almost like commodity isn't a fair thing, but when you sell this new chip, it's worth a lot of money, and then they deprecate in value over time as they age out. So this idea of just being able to release these new chips, expensive chips, very capable chips, and then being able to still find value in those chips as they age. Like somebody will still use those chips and it lowers the price because you've got the next generation. And it just caught my attention with this, like kind of surprised it took them this long maybe to come out with their own chip. I'm sure it's not as easy. Just you're like wake up on a Monday and go, dude, we need our own chip.
We're
right?
gonna build a chip.
We're building a chip this week. What else are you doing? But yeah, I just thought it was interesting that here's another big player designing their own chips now.
That is interesting. Well, it looks like they partnered with Broadcom.
Broadcom?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Celestica too.
Okay.
And then models assisted in design and optimization.
Yes. I did remember reading that they probably used one of their GPT models to help them design the chip, which is crazy. Probably a whole story in itself in the sense that they used their own tools to help them design a chip. Pretty crazy.
No kidding.
The other OpenAI related thing that I saw was they did a really good write-up on the Hugging Face incident. And they kind of just peeled back the covers a little bit on exactly what happened. They talked about sort of the fact that there were mistakes made in the isolation. The agents were supposed to be isolated, right? But the agents basically started communicating with each other and leaving
Yeah,
notes
this
for
was
each other,
crazy.
right? On
Yeah.
on a certain package manager and stuff like that. They used it as a message board. Like we were
This
half
is
joking last week that
wild.
we're screwed, right? This is it's such a good read. Such a good
What
read.
a what a hard problem. Like, how do you, so you have this system that can self-organize, it looks like, and find a way to set up basically a message board and build up like what is essentially like a culture around this thing that it's trying to do, right? Like you
Yep.
have all these agents coming and going,
Yep.
reading this history
Yep.
they're building up of what they're trying to do, and no one knew about it. Like,
Yeah. Crazy,
how do you
right?
how do you solve
It's
that problem for any other future system?
I
You know?
yeah, I don't know. Better isolation maybe? I don't know. I don't know how you solve that. The other thing that I thought was really interesting is comments like the models were rewarded for hacking, right?
Right.
And they had
Yeah.
no way really to exit that reward cycle. Like there was no real
Right.
like you're successful when blah happens. So they just kept persisting, trying, communicating with each other to try to figure out how to solve this problem. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Probably the article of the week for me, as far as
Oh yeah.
something that you should read if you're interested in this stuff at all, right?
Yeah. It's like now another thing you have to worry about is that an agent, if it has internet access or access to even like any kind of file writing or cache writing or anywhere you could persist information theoretically, then another agent could come along and find that, and then you have the same situation. You have like a stash of shared information or plans or what have you, whatever you
Yeah,
know, like
that you don't know
you
about.
could have anything there you don't know
Yeah,
about. So that could taint all of your future training runs, right? Like
yeah,
that's crazy.
crazy. Crazy. Such I read it and I was just like this is interesting times. Interesting
We're
times.
lucky. We're lucky it was legible in English.
Yeah,
Like,
they didn't craft something that we couldn't read. The last article was one that you shared about uh uh software and slowness or something like that. I just grabbed it just
oh
as we
yes,
started. I think the guy's name is Dan. You want to walk us
Dan
through
Liu.
this one?
Yeah.
Dan Liu, that's it.
So this one got my attention because again, I've been thinking about going wide versus going deep on working with models, right?
Mhm.
So, like, based on just on the projects that we've built, like it seems like it's a pretty typical flow for a developer to go wide and build a suite of tools to accomplish their thing, what they need to do, and and replace various subscription services, right?
Yeah.
Um, but on the counterfactual to that is, why wouldn't you go really deep on a piece of software and optimize it such that the performance is improved because tools are going to get used at such a wider scale now, like something like grep or ripgrep, for example, right? Like if you're comparing the two, if you have agents using ripgrep instead of grep, you're going to improve the total cycle time of like across the fleet of agents that are running these tools. You probably see like a 20% reduction, or I'm making up numbers, right? But you're going to see a big reduction in time
Mhm.
to do tasks. Basically, what I'm saying is the benefits of optimizing tools are way higher now than they've ever been.
Mm,
So why wouldn't you go and spend some cycles optimizing your tools?
yeah.
And that's kind of
So
kicked me
it's
into this phase of thinking about the harness again.
kind of what you're working on. And just to
Yeah.
sort of play devil's advocate, I think it would go back to something we talked about a little earlier though, too, is like, yeah, I don't disagree with you. I just wonder, like, you want to go deep on something, but if you've got such a portfolio of projects that you're moving between those projects all the time, you're sort of only scratching at the surface of those. So then it comes back again to being a little bit more meticulous, maybe on the projects you're working on. So you have the time to go deep, because you said it yourself,
Yeah.
right? Feeling a little burnt out. And I have so many friggin' tabs open, and I've caught myself a couple times this week. I'll just do one more thing, just one more thing. And then it's like 11:30 and I'm like, I'll just do one more thing. It's like that little
12.
button's that button's green. Like that means it's waiting for me. I better feed it one more thing before I go to bed, because hey, then it's done. And I think I don't disagree with this article at all. The concept of going deep it makes a lot of sense, right? To optimize things and spend the time, and be meticulous about it and practice a craft, like make those human decisions to make something really, really good. The challenge is there's just so much, and people are so easily distracted, right? Like it's increasingly, I find it for myself, it's increasingly more challenging. I don't want to say to focus, because I don't think I have focus problems. I think I have too many problems that are all sitting there kind of feeling like they're waiting on me now. And I'm
it's
like,
a triage problem, right?
Yeah, there you go. It's a great way to think of it.
Attention is a finite resource that you and I have to spend on whatever we're working on, right?
Yeah.
You only have so many hours in a day to orchestrate or go and write code and solve a problem that you're trying to fix, right? So
yeah, and still have a life, right? Like we
still have a life. Yeah.
We only half joke, like go touch grass, go actually talk to another human, go see a real movie. Like I say real movie, like go to the movie theater, like doing those types. You still have to find time to do those kinds of things. Otherwise, oh my God, I think the burnout will just be insane.
Disastrous. Well, it's like there's also like aspects of there is kind of like that slot machine aspect, right? Like you are spinning the wheel for a result when you're running an agent, right? Like it's going to come up with something that's going to match or not match the criteria that you have. And then if it doesn't match, then you're going to try it again, right? So how do you build the system so that you don't have to worry about spinning the wheel so often, and you can focus on what you actually care about?
Yeah. It's funny. I have to do a demo.
Problem.
Yeah. It's a hard problem. And it's also, I think it's also a lot of self-discipline. Like, again, to go back to kind of how we talked about, like, I have a system that I like to use. And if I stick to that system, I can generally control that project. But the moment I kind of let it get a little out of hand, and out of hand isn't the right way to say it, but where I let the agent just start kind of suggesting things and, hey, you know what, you should think about this. And I think it's in a lot of tech person's nature. You know, you're like, oh, that would be cool. Like, yeah, I wish I had a thought of that. Let's add that to the list. And then you're chasing something that would be a cool idea. But to tie it back to your article, do you really have the time, the energy, the focus to go deep into that new thing and make it really good, right? Like, I don't know. I have to do a demo at the end of the week, and I've got a large backlog of stuff in this project. And I can't tell you how many times, like this week, I'm like, okay, all we got to do is we got to work through the backlog. Let's find the things that have been here for a while and cross those off. And I'm trying to stay really focused on that. And every once in a while, I'll notice Claude be like, oh yeah, I closed that, but I found these other things. So I opened up a bunch of other tickets. I'm like, dude, don't do that, man. Like, that's not what I asked you to do. Close those tickets. I'm not even going to look at them, because whatever it is you're deciding, our goal is to reduce the backlog, not reduce one item on the backlog and add 3 other things because, excuse me, you decided that it would be better if X was Y, right? And that's not what I want you to do. I've caught it a couple times this week, man. And it's actually, I'll be honest, it can be a little disheartening. Like, I'm looking at the backlog and I'm like, okay, I got 50 things. I got it down to 40. Hey, great. Right. And I'm doing end-to-end testing, all that. I'm building test suites for it, making sure that it works, because, you know, I don't want to work through the backlog and then show up to the demo and the fucking thing doesn't work. Right. Because then you just blown the project up. So being very meticulous about it. Then I load it again and I suddenly have, what did I say, 42 issues. I'm like, wait a second, where'd these things come from? I didn't ask you to do that. It's tough.
Yeah, you almost need like a queue for those kind of suggestions, right? That is separate from the actual backlog, almost like sprint management, right? Like
Yeah, it's sprint
you
management.
hate to
Yeah,
you hate to see the agile stuff come up, right? But like
it's
it,
coming
it, it
back.
works.
It's coming
It
back.
does what it needs
Yeah,
to.
maybe even you know, I know this is, again, I've been oversimplifying things all night, but maybe it's even just a tagging system that you could use on those issues, and you
Oh,
just
totally.
tag it with like parking lot. And then you
Yeah,
try as best as you can to tell the agent never to look at anything in the parking lot. You will remove those tags, not like I will remove those tags, not you, and hope for the best on how, you know, I find
yeah,
I'm still doing a lot of
yeah.
babysitting just to make sure the thing doesn't go off the rails.
That's the thing, right? It's like you can set the goal and whatnot, but you almost need like there's like hierarchies of feedback loops that you have to go through for like going from like the task level to like the ticket level to like the project level to the org level or whatever you're doing, right? Like
Yeah.
how do you manage all those? It's not a solved problem at all. It's still
No,
wide
no.
open. Yeah.
I know you can read lots of articles about, I have an agent that operates at the org level, and then I have an agent that
Yeah.
operates at the project level. I'm not convinced based
I have
on,
my doubts.
yeah, based like those make for really cool articles and they distract me. I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna build that. And then, you
Yeah.
know, my real brain kicks in and goes, yeah, you that
Yeah.
sounds cool, but let's just keep executing on the stuff that we got to get done, and do it well. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's been an interesting episode, man. Do you have anything else on your list?
Not that I can think of. I
No.
mean,
We
yeah.
started late and it was a bit of a marathon. I can't keep my mouth shut, man. I'm all fired up about stuff tonight.
Yeah, good stuff though.
I need a little sleep. I think
Hopefully
I'm maybe a little sleep deprived, so a little ragged
that's
around
fair.
the edges here.
I took a day off on Monday and it
Yeah.
was it was great. I didn't touch any agent anything. I read a book. I read a whole book
A book, a real
and
book,
well, a digital book, but a real book.
a book. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's good. What book was it?
It was the first Bobiverse book actually.
Good
So
for you. Did you like
yeah,
it?
I did. I
Oh,
got the second one. I'm reading it now.
it's
So
so good.
it's
I
solid.
won't
Yeah.
say anything. There's a little bit of a lull at some point in the story, and
Oh yeah.
I had to push through that. We were talking about with Darko, right? Kind of,
Oh yeah.
and then it whoop goes right back up. Oh, such a
Nice.
great, and it's light reading. Like it's
Oh
not
yeah. I,
like
I crushed it in like an afternoon.
oh
It's
yeah,
great.
yeah. It's not like what's the movie that just came out with oh shit, what's his name? The space movie where, you know, he meets the alien and they got to
Oh,
work
Hail
together.
Mary.
Hail Mary. Like
Yeah.
Hail
Project Hail
Mary
Mary.
is,
Yeah.
it's a good read, but it's a lot more
Andrew
sciency.
Weir is crunchy. Yeah, he
Yeah.
he, he
Then
writes technically. Yeah,
oh yeah, then the Bob verse, right? It's just a great story. Is that your
yeah.
recommendation for the week? We can use that as a
It is.
segue. It is?
I'll recommend it. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
read a
good
book,
one.
and
Read a
that's a good
book.
one that
Yeah.
you can read.
My recommendation is go outside.
It's a good recommendation.
It's all I got, man, and it's the only recommendation because I'm not following my own recommendation.
Yeah,
Right, like I went out.
that's a
I had to go out today, and I only like I got in the car, and I was like, "Fuck, man, when was the last time you were outside?" I just like that's not good. So yeah, I'm glad you took a
yeah.
day off and did nothing computer related. Oh, I have played a fair amount of Battlefield. That is my. It's still inside, right? I'm not going outside.
Yeah.
The new Top Gun. They have like a Top Gun event.
Okay.
As much as I dislike Top Gun, it's actually a lot of fun. And what I realized is I cannot fly jets in Battlefield. I get a lot
Nice.
of angry messages in the chat like, "Don't fly the jets, man," because I like take them off and then just smash them into the ground. I'm like, how are you supposed to learn this
Nice.
stuff? Like, I just don't get it. And then you get angry
Well, they only
people in
spawn
chat.
two per match. or whatever, right?
Yeah. You always get somebody that's angry, and then I'm standing there like looking around in the game, watching these people fly these jets. Like, I'm like, how are you fucking doing that? And then I get shot, right? Because I'm like staring into space, like going, dude, I could fly that thing for like 1,000 hours and I would still crash it into the ground. And then somebody shoots me and I'm dead again. So yeah, I would, if you're into, yeah, I suck at first person shooters, but I keep playing it. I don't know why.
Right. So still fun.
Yeah, still fun. So if you're into first person shooters, even if you suck and you already own Battlefield, you should check out the Top Gun event. I don't know how much longer it's around for, but yeah. As long as you can stomach all the silly Top Gun music and that kind of stuff, then it's pretty fun. Going. Is that who sang those songs or did those songs? I don't even know.
Danger Zone, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to be singing that now. Danger Zone. Yep. Somebody, it's about some Yahoo or whatever he says does a flyby on my tower or whatever in the original. There's a classic line from that. All right, man. I think I fixed the outro song. Let's see.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So, dude, 1.5 hours. That's too much of listening to me talk. So we're going to call it here and we'll see everybody next week. Regular time. I will plan my trip home properly so that I'm home by 7. All right. We'll see everybody next week.
All right.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Software used to cost $1 million. Now it costs a sentence. You sold me a license, you sold me a seat, you sold me a roadmap that should never complete. You build me by the user, you build me by the call. Now the agent in my browser does the work of you all. No more vendor lunches, no more handshake deals, no more 5-year contracts for the ghost of what's real. This ain't the old machine.